Okay, welcome back to another episode of Third and 23. I'm your host, Alex, here to bring you another off-season video. This is going to be a video on a bet that I do every year, NFL over-under on future win total. So I generally only do one over-under future win total bet in the NFL. I do the same bet every year. I bet an under on who I believe is going to get the first pick of the draft. When you look at it, the first pick of the draft generally has 2 wins, 3 wins, 1 win, 0 wins. I think the Lions hit that many years ago, right? So it's all about who do you think is going to get the first pick? Because whoever you think is going to get the first pick, that's an underplay, right? So it's all about determining who has the traits, right? Who has the traits of a team that's going to get the first pick of the draft. And that's what this video is about. And then this video is going to be out giving you who that bet is for me this season. So last year when I did this bet, I did a video on the New York Giants. New York Giants, I thought would get the first pick of the draft. I forgot what they ended up getting. I think they got third, but I think they tied for the worst record in the league. And Vegas set them at a 6.5 over on the win total, which I thought was insane. Easy bet, easy under, easy win, right? So good payout on that bet. So let's go ahead and get into who I think is going to be that bet, the New York Giants, the underplay for 2025. So first thing I want to talk about are what are the traits that I look for in a team that I believe is going to get the first pick of the draft. First starts off with quarterback play, right? Obviously, you guys know you have to have good quarterback play to be able to win in the NFL. Poor quarterback play is going to lead to a lot of losses. Like I say here, if your quarterback stinks, your season's cooked. That's just what it is. You guys have seen bad quarterbacks, young quarterbacks who are also bad quarterbacks, lead to piss poor seasons for your favorite team or for any team that you're watching. Coaching instability. If your coach is on the hot seat, generally they don't usually get off the hot seat. If you guys watch football, you guys know that that's usually the case. If a coach is on the hot seat, sooner or later they're gonna get gone, right? And they're gonna get gone because they had a bad season. Offensive and defense, right? So you got to have dogs on offense. When I say dogs, you got to have guys who can score touchdowns. You need touchdowns to win games. So when you're looking at a roster, you got to say, oh, can that guy score? That guy can get a lot of touchdowns. Oh, that guy can score a lot. When you're looking at a roster, don't look at a journeyman 5 years in the league player and think all of a sudden he's about to get 15 touchdowns. It's not going to happen. So do they got dogs? Do they got stars on the offense side of the ball? Guys who can put the ball in the end zone. Guys who get schemed, who schemes are built around, right? And then defensively, if you don't have those dogs on offense, right? You got to have a 2000 Baltimore Ravens style of defense, with best defense in NFL history. You got to have a defense on that level. You got to have a defense like the Broncos team that carried Peyton Manning to the Super Bowl, like the Bucs team that won the Super Bowl with Brad Johnson was the quarterback. You got to have playmakers on that side of the ball that can shut teams down cold and keep your mediocre to below average offense in the game to, win it late. And then finally, schedule. To get the first pick of the draft, you won't get a winnable stretch. You're not going to get a stretch of games where you're going to go against 3 teams in a row who are also going to be competing for that first pick of the draft. You're not going to have that. So these are the traits that I look for in a team that's going to get the first pick. So who do I see fits that? There's a couple teams that fit that mold this year, but the team that I'm going with, it's not going to be a surprise to anyone who follows football. It's the Cleveland Browns. Vegas knows it too. Vegas isn't giving me the gift like they gave me with the Giants last season with the 6.5. This over-under is set at 4.5. But now let's look at it. At quarterback, the Cleveland Browns are going to have 40-year-old Joe Flacco competing with Kenny Pickett, who was a former first-round draft pick, should have never been. He's already on a bus track. He's on his third team in 3 years? That's who's competing for the starting job there. Now, they got 2 rookies also, but I don't expect Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders to really play this year. Except maybe late in the year when the season's already over. So Flacco versus Pickett. You saw Joe Flacco play last year for the Colts. He's done. Okay, he's done. And now he's a year older. He's done. Kenny Pickett, he just can't play. Coaching instability. To me, Stefanski's on the hot seat. I don't necessarily think he should be, but he is on the hot seat. He's coming off a 3-win season. He's been there 5 years. People might not know about the Browns because you always assume the Browns stink. Stefanski's been to the playoffs twice in these 5 years. Now he's coming off a 3-win season. You throw in another bad season on top of that, man, he's probably gone. But I think he can coach. I just don't think he has a good roster, which leads to the next section, offense, defense. Man, who's scoring on this offense? So we already talked about quarterback. At running back is going to be Jerome Ford. If you play fantasy football, you know you can count on Jerome Ford to give you a game maybe once a month, decent game. He's not scoring a bunch of touchdowns. Receivers, Jerry Jeudy had a revival season last year with Jameis Winston always throwing the ball deep to him. Winston is gone. They're not going to get the ball deep to Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy's never done it other than that second half of the season stretch last year. Cedric Tillman, that's what I'm talking about. You can't say Cedric Tillman, oh, he said he's going to score 12 touchdowns. Cedric Tillman's not scoring 12 touchdowns. You know, you're not going to get that from him. They don't have weapons on the outside. And Njoku is banged up a lot, and he's not some elite level tight end anyway. So there's no receivers on the outside, and there's no quarterback to really get them the ball anyway. So the passing game is done. The running game, Jerome Ford is not going to be one of your league leaders in rushing this season. Done. So there's no offense. I don't see how this team averages more than 17 points per game in the 2025 football season, particularly against the schedule they're going to go against. Okay, so first off, the AFC North. All three teams in the AFC North are playoff contenders. Ravens, Super Bowl contender. Bengals, playoff contender. Steelers, people say playoff contender. If they still play 16 games, I would think they would go 500. But we can say contender. I don't think they're going to get in. I think they're a little overrated. But people do think that the Steelers are good. People think the Steelers are going to the playoffs. I do got a lot of respect for Mike Tomlin, and do got a lot of vets on that team. I just think they got a lot of old vets on the team. Regardless, they're better than the Browns. If you look at the Browns, they have 2, maybe 3 legitimate winnable games on the schedule where you say, okay, they got a shot in that game. They played the Patriots on the road. The Patriots have a really cake schedule this year, by the way, but they play the Patriots on the road. Winnable, in my opinion, no. Drake May's a good quarterback, good young quarterback, and it's in Foxborough. But the Patriots don't have a whole bunch of playmakers on the team either, so you could say, okay, maybe Cleveland can be in that game. The Jets, especially if you guys heard the news today about Justin Fields, we still don't know the severity of his injury. But even before he got hurt, I thought that was a game the Browns could potentially win. So maybe they beat the Jets. In fact, you can say likely they beat the Jets, right? Especially if Justin Fields isn't playing. And then the Tennessee Titans, only because that's another team they're going to be drafting in the top 5 this year. Rook's going to start a rookie quarterback. How is he going to look against a defense that is going to be good, but the Browns defense isn't 2000 Baltimore Ravens good. Let's be honest. This is a good-ish defense that's going to have breakdowns when they're on the field all game long because the offense isn't doing anything. So that's really all I can see them potentially getting wins is Tennessee, New York, and I don't even really want to say the Patriots, but we can say the Patriots, right? So 3 wins maxes their ceiling is what I see. So over-under set at 4.5. This is tied as the lowest over-under with the New Orleans Saints, who I was kicking around the idea of the Saints also getting the first pick. I think they'll get the second, right? So if you're going with the Saints in this bet, I understand. But for me, Cleveland, because they play in a tougher division, they have absolutely nobody on the offensive side of the ball that scares anyone, and they don't have a defense that's going to be a brick wall, and they got a coach who the fans are going to be clamoring for him to get out of town by midseason. So for me, over on the play that I do every year, betting on the team, betting the under on the team that I believe is going to get the first pick. Again, we're not betting. It doesn't matter if they don't get the first pick. The Giants didn't get the first pick either, and I cashed out, right? It's all about hitting the under and predicting the team that's going to get the first pick of the draft. So anyway, that wraps it up. If you agree or disagree, feel free to let me know in the comments and follow, or subscribe, and all of that as we continue on in this football off season. We are almost there. Almost at the end of July. But anyways, that wraps it up. Take care.